Welcome to a demo of the Xstreamer 0.7 software. I'm going to be going over the X-Wing features here just to get you up and running for people that haven't used the software before. I'm assuming that you guys all are familiar with OBS Studio and XSplit, so I'm not going to be going over features for that. But do go through and try to familiarize yourselves with it. You will need to know how to go through and use the OBS browser source for the displaying the squad files. But other than that, we'll go ahead and get going here. So I'm assuming that you've gone through and have already gone out through and downloaded the appropriate version for your particular software. If you're doing X-Wing miniatures, you will need to have the X-Wing miniatures ships TrueType font installed, as well as the X-Wing miniatures TrueType font installed. There are versions out here for Windows, Mac, and Windows and Linux. If you want some more information on how to get this thing up and running with Windows, I suggest you contact Dion. He's our expert from Gold Squadron on how to go through and get it running on Mac. There is a little shortcut trick you have to go through and do. But other than that, for Windows and Linux users, you should be able to just go through and download the particular version and execute the executable directly. I do recommend that you go through and download and install it into a separate directory. Right now there is no version upgrade support. I'm planning to get that in a future version, but it's kind of low on the priority list right now. To get things going, you can go through and double click the executable. This will go ahead and start launching Xstreamer. And what you'll notice is that there will be a little bit different view coming up if you used Xstreamer in the past. We do now have a new image view in here, and there is a properties view down here for when we're going through and displaying HTML files and the squads as well. So the first thing you'll want to go through and do is go through and go to Edit and then Preferences. You'll want to go through and set up and select a directory where all the general files go. These are the player name files and the player text files, as well as there's a separate directory if you want to go through and output to the timer files to a different directory. So there's actually about 3 output directories you're going to need to go through and set. In the X-Wing directory, you'll need to go through and set the Xstreamer output directory if you haven't already done it. It's already going to default to wherever you launched Xstreamer from. And I recommend going through and changing this to a different location. In my particular case, I'm going to go through and have it go to my videos and then the Raven Squadron folder, with which I have an Xstreamer folder out here for that already. So we're going to have all the template files go out there. Same thing for the general. I recommend going through and having it go through and put out to the exact same area. So again, videos, Raven Squadron, and then Xstreamer, and then select OK for that. In addition, for the squad files, these are the where the location of the templates are stored. I do not recommend changing this. You want to keep the template directory as is. What you do want to go through and do is set up and select the particular squad file templates that you want to go through and use. In this particular case, there's a couple of them that you probably want to go through and use. If you're using OBS Studio on Windows and maybe on Linux, I've heard some reports where the refresh isn't happening automatically, then you want to go through and use the OBS Detail Left Aligned and OBS Detail Right Aligned. Again, these will go through and align the squadrons based off of either it's going to be lined up the right aligned on the right hand margin, or it's going to be lined up so that everything's on the left hand line on the left hand margin. So in general, we'll just go ahead and just select this for player 1. Or actually, it's more like I do detail right align, and then you want to give it a player 1 squad HTML. You can call it whatever you want, but make it unique so you can find it when you're going through and setting up your overlays within OBS Studio. So we do that, and then we got to do the exact same thing for the second player. And in this case, we'll go through and have them left align, and we'll go player 2, player 2 squad 2.html, and we'll hit let's just set both of those up. Timer's been set up, general information. Timer and output directory, we'll go through and set that up as well. So you go to video, I'm going to put mine again back in videos, Raven Squadron, and put it back out here for the timer file. So that will take care of those. You do a apply, and then we do apply and close. So that should set those files up. Now to get the actual squads into the system, there is a built-in browser within OBS, within Xstreamer. You can either use the built-in browser or you can use an external browser. I'm going to go ahead and use the external browser since that's what most people seem to be going through and using. We'll go through and set up go out to yet another squad builder, which is the one I recommend people go through and use. I'll go ahead and just log in with my Google account. And then we'll go through and load up an existing squadron. So let's see here. We'll pick a standard list, and we'll just say it's close proximity. We'll say we'll load this one up for Gold Squadron, and then we will go through and we'll use this for player 1. What you want to go through and do is go through and export to XWS. Select all that text, copy it, and then switch back over to Xstreamer. Go to player 1. There's the import squad option on here. Expand that down. You'll have an import option. You want to go through and cut and copy and paste that text you just copied and do an import. This will then go through and load up the squad. You can then go through and select it, and you'll automatically see there's a new feature that's gone through and done, is that it will go through and show the pilot card for that particular squad over here in the image viewer. Now these images for pilots and stuff are automatically saved out to the output directory you specified earlier and for your templates. So if we go through and take a look at the videos directory, and then Raven Squadron, and then Xstreamer, we now have a Xstreamer X-Wing pilot PNG file. The same thing happens when you go through and look at, like, say, you want to take a look at the ion cannon chart. The card will be generated out here, and you will also now have a Xstreamer X-Wing upgrade card PNG. You can use both of these PNGs. They will automatically get updated, and then you can use them as image sources within your OBS broadcasting and XSplit broadcasting streams. You can then go through and hide and show these images using the standard OBS controls. So this is a new feature within Xstreamer 7.0 that lets you go through and display the image cards. You don't have to necessarily go through and look them up on your phone or get that to an external source to go through and get them. They're automatically already there. Everything's in the system up through wave just before wave 12 was released. I will be going through shortly, probably later on today, and releasing the version that has the additional images and pilot information for each of those squads. A couple other features and stuff within this. You can do the exact same thing for player 2 that you did for player 1, but there are a couple additional features I wanted to go over. You do have the ability within the overlays now to go through and toggle whether a upgrade has been discarded, and the overlays will go through and show you. You can also change the quantity that you have of these. If you get like extra munitions or something like that, it'll go through and handle that stuff. The additional thing that's out here, let's see here. Yes, remember we had gone through and named the player one squad .html. It will go through and automatically create that file out here. So if you go through and make any changes to the file, it will automatically update it. OBS Studio is browser source. You'll probably want to use the OBS template so that it automatically will go through and refresh when this stuff is updated. But that should get you to the point where you're going through and do it. You do the exact same thing for player 2 and player 1. If you want to go through and change shield and hull values, just go through, select the one you want, change it, hit enter. The player 1 squad will automatically be updated. So you no longer have to go through and remember to hit the update button. All that information is done down here. You can do the exact same thing for changing pilot skill levels if you need to. If you got adaptability, somebody's gone through and decided to go that one down to 0. The program does now automatically go through and handle veteran instincts. So if you got veteran instincts applied, it will automatically go through and adjust the pilot skill level to that. One other view that you do have that's not automatically enabled by default is there is a Windows Show View, and then you go to Xstreamer. Let's see here. Let's actually put it under damage decks. Where are the damage decks? There it is. I think it's this. That's the image view. Oh. Oops. I don't have it. Well, there is another version that's coming out, probably being 071, that has the ability to view damage decks as well. So I'll check on see where that is. I'm using the version of 07 that was unreleased. But in general, the main features, hull and the view shipped updates, and then there is supposed to be a view for the damage decks, but apparently I didn't get it installed here in time. Anyways, I'll release an update with that information and put it out there, and we can go through them from there. This is just a high-level overview of it. If you have questions for how to get things going and you're running into problems, please post a message out there on the Xstreamer forum on Facebook, and we'll go through and try to answer it. That's the best way to try to get in touch with me. You can also try to ping me on Facebook Messenger as well, and I'll try to answer around any questions that people may have during that time period as well. All right, thank you guys.